Hey everybody, Nate with 3 Drinks Down today. No James, unfortunately. He's a little under the weather, so just me shooting here today. But I do have a fun one. It's Dixon Dedman's new project, 2X-No. So for those of you familiar with Dixon Dedman, you probably already know that he was the mastermind behind blending a Kentucky Owl, which was actually his family's brand that he resurrected. Since he left there, obviously, he was just waiting out some things, I'm sure, and as the story goes, and now he's emerged with this new product. And it's under the brand 2X-No, which obviously, as you might think, is 2 times the oak, essentially. So that's kind of cool. This one's called the Phoenix Blend, and as the name would suggest, and you can imagine, it's his return to blending. This one comes in at 104 proof. It's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, so at least 2 years old. And also from the Fred Minnick webpage, we do know this is actually 2 bourbons blended. One that's a medium rye mash bill, the other that's a high rye mash bill. Before we go any further, we would like to ask if you could please subscribe to the channel, maybe throw a like on this particular video, and comment if you've had 2X-No or any of Dixon Dedman's blends that you've really enjoyed, and tell me what you enjoyed about them. Let's go and nose this thing and let's see what we're getting into here. Big oak right off the rip, but for something that's double barreled, essentially into a new American charred oak the second time as well, you'd expect that. Good amount of vanilla sweetness and some rye spice for sure. At the end, I'm getting a hint of like a black pepper. I think that's what it is. I don't experience that very often, but that seems to be there. All in all, the nose is a very nice expression, to be very upfront with you. I didn't know what to expect because there's no age statement here. So you kind of go into this thinking, I don't know what to think here. Should I expect there to be old dusty, musty? It's a dark color, but that's because of the secondary barrel aging, probably at least. So we don't know on that. So we're gonna have to get into the taste and see what we think about this. Man, that's a big rye spice. That's the thing that hits you. There is definitely some vanilla sweetness on the front of the palate, and it's beautiful. Then it hits you with a big rye spice that oak carries throughout. On first sip, it's kind of starting to end towards the mid to back palate. I'm not getting a ton of finish through. It is not necessarily the most viscous, but it has a decent body to it. It's not super, super thick, but it's good. I mean, I won't say I won't dig it on the body itself, you know. Let's go in for a second sip. On second sip, you carry that sweetness a little more, and I kind of detect maybe a little bit of fruit in there, and I'm thinking more towards like a lighter, brighter red fruit. Not necessarily citrus, but it's kind of leaning to some acidity in a certain respect. It's very enjoyable, to be very honest with you, and I am getting a hint of that oak or black pepper on the back of the palate, and just a very, very slight little hug. At 104 proof, that's impressive to get that. But then again, that new oak could be playing in there. I don't know. That's my guess. Coming back to the nose, wow. Okay, so that fruit that I was telling you about, I get a touch of that fruit in the nose. Again, I said wow, so I don't want to mislead you. That oak and that rye on the nose, just so strong. So you might be saying, Nate, how do you feel about purchase, pour, or pass on this one? And this one's actually a little tough for me, to be really honest with you. We haven't talked about one thing, and that one thing is the MSRP on this one. It's $100. So it's not huge. It's not $250, $300 like we've seen on a lot of these releases lately, or like the last Kentucky Owl was a $300 bottle at MSRP. But it does get out there where I have to be very smart about what I tell you guys, because some of this might be a better part of someone's budget for the month that they spend on whiskey, and I don't want to lead them the wrong way. So I'm going to come out and actually say that I feel if this is within your budget, this is definitely a purchase. And here's why. It's obvious. I think I said it 2 or 3 times throughout the video so far. The big oak, big spice from the rye, beautiful little vanilla notes. There's something fruity in there. I can't quite pull it apart. And then a little peppery, oaky finish just comes together really nicely. And for that reason, I have to say it's absolutely a purchase. Now, I can completely understand if that's a lot of your monthly bourbon budget, why you might not want to do that. And that's okay too, because there could be other reasons. Maybe you feel it's sourced whiskey, so you're trying to stay away from sourced whiskey. You want to go straight from the distiller. That's fine too. For me, if I were to see this again and I was out of a bottle, I'd probably pick another one up, to be very honest with you. So since I'm by myself today, I have to end a little differently, obviously, because normally we say whether Nate or James, purchase, pour, pass, whatever. So I'm going to say who this is for. Because I said it was a purchase, this is for you if you love oak. This is for you if you love rye spice. And this is for you if you absolutely are a big Dixon Dedman fan, because I think there's going to be that component as well. And with all that said, this has been a review for you. Lean back, fall away.